I just recorded a video for time management for the members of this YouTube channel, the paid members. And I want to make a free video here on how to achieve anything that you want to accomplish. And since this video is, this YouTube channel is geared around generating passive income, right? Which essentially is a vector to financial freedom. And I'll just put FF here. How can you achieve essentially financial freedom? Well, let's actually talk about that, because there are many people watching who are either just starting their journey, who are maybe knee-deep in their journey for financial freedom, and there are some people who honestly have probably pretty much achieved financial freedom at this point, but they just like to further grow, and it becomes a game for them. And I'll kind of talk about this as like, how can you actually achieve financial freedom? Well, the first thing is you need to figure out what's going to be your passive income. What's going to be the thing that generates you income while you are not necessarily working for it. So let me put this into perspective for you, which pretty much everybody here knows. If I go to work, right? So let's just say a 9 to 5. Although it's a blessing, right? I do have to pay for this job. Not monetarily, but with my time, right? So let me explain what that means. I go to a job, right? I give them my time, my effort, my energy, and therefore I get paid at the end of the month or bi-weekly, right? I get paid. Now, this is a situation where I am trading my time for money, okay? This is not passive, and this is not financial freedom. Some jobs, I can take some time off and I'll still get paid. Those are just jobs with, good systems around them or beneficial systems for employees. But this is not financial freedom, and this won't get you to financial freedom unless you're willing to take the long route, which is basically working for the company or the business or the entity or the, I guess you could say the infrastructure for about 20 plus years, right? Because by then you'll be able to generate a retirement salary. That retirement salary will be guaranteed to you, will come in every month. The only sad thing about this is now companies are making sure they lay people off before they actually get to that point where they can get that guaranteed retirement salary, that pension, if you will, which is pretty sad. But regardless, loyalty is dying anyway. The concept of loyalty is almost non-existent. But regardless, you want to achieve financial freedom. So a 9 to 5 is not going to be the way, right? That's not financial freedom. It might be financial sustenance. It might even be financial blessings, but it's not going to be financial freedom. So how can you do this? You only can do it through passive income. And in order for it to be passive, truly passive, it first starts as active. There is no get rich quick. There is no get lucky. You're going to have to do the hard work first. There's a common quote that you hear me say all the time, you hear other people say, which is hard work, smart work. Smart work is what? People basically say, negate hard work. Why are you doing the hard work? Go do the smart work, right? As if there's a better strategy, better schedule, better system. And the reality is with business or income, forget even business, but for income to be passive, it first has to become active. It first has to have some sort of effort, some sort of time, some sort of money, some sort of effort, something. It has to have some sort of resources first that's actively put in order for it to later down the road turn into passive. Let's explore some of those concepts. Let's use, for example, the Superstock AI concept. So let's go here to Superstock AI course. This is a course that I generated teaching people how I do stock photography through AI. So I'm not going out there, I'm not taking pictures of buildings, I'm not buying flight tickets to go to places to take pictures. I'm not doing any of that. Okay, I'm using AI to create pictures, to upload them to different websites, and I make money. Okay? This business is usually rejected by a lot of people in the Western societies. Why? Because they think it doesn't pay them that much. But really, it's just a fallacy, right? The concept is that you're going to upload images and get paid. Now, there's more to it, but there's only a few things that matter. And these are the rules to the business. So let me go ahead and delete this thing here. And really what the goal is passive income, right here. So I'm going to write passive here. But how can I get to passive income? Let's start reverse engineering the process, okay? The first thing that I need to do is I need to understand the rules to every business or every hustle or every strategy or every method, whatever you want to call it. I have to figure out my rules. These rules are understanding how the game is played. I'll use an example. Like if you know about the sport boxing, right? There are certain rules. It's not like I could just elbow you in the face or kick you, right, in your stomach and call that boxing. That's not boxing. There are certain rules to the game. After you learn the rules, you start learning finesse, okay? So I'll write FIN here to represent finesse. But what finesse is how can you start to get to the point where you're actually good at the game? See, generating passive income is absolutely a game. And some people are good at it, and some people are bad at it. And with time, everyone starts in the bad position, and they get better over time. Unless there's some sort of Elon Musk IQ level, you're really not going to start off at a high level, right? So finesse is where you start to learn shortcuts. Like one of the shortcuts in the Superstock AI course, which is actually pretty obvious that most people already know and they don't have to join the course to know, is the concept of creating images with AI. That's a little shortcut. It's a finesse, right? What does that mean? Okay, so instead of me going out there and taking pictures of the Burj Khalifa, I can literally go into an AI software and tell it to create images of large buildings in Dubai, as an example, or buildings, pictures of the pyramids, or pictures of camels. I don't have to go out to a zoo and find a camel and take a picture of it, right? And it could be in the perfect lighting, perfect settings, everything. That's finesse, right? There are shortcuts in every game. Every business, there are shortcuts. Whether it's Amazon FBA, whether it's, and trust me, I've done Amazon FBA. Whether it's blogging, like building websites, whether it's, creating a wallpaper app, like what we're showing the people in the members area to do. There's finesse to every single game. There's certain things that you can do to beat the competition. And there's only two ways to acquire finesse. Only two. The first way is to learn it. And when I say learn it, means you go out there and do it yourself. And the second way is to have it given to you. So given to you just means that you're either A, listening to people's videos, courses, books, etc., but you're acquiring the knowledge from someone else. Things start to go left right here. This is exactly where things start to go left. Now I'll start to use this red marker here, if I can. Where's the red marker here? Here. When you start to learn things, there's a problem that comes into play, is that it takes too much time. Because make no mistake, in order to achieve passive income and financial freedom, time is of the essence. So is money, right? We don't have infinite resources. Money is a resource. Time is a resource. Effort is a resource. Willpower is a resource. There's many resources, right? There are different resources that you could pull from to keep you going down this line to success. If passive income was the flag and the game was catch the flag, you have to use as much resources as you can to get there, okay? So time is an example. If you're going to go out there and learn the business yourself, time is of the essence. Another issue where things can go left is if you learn it the wrong way. And I'm going to go to boxing here again. In boxing, right, you have to learn how to keep distance between you and your opponent, right? If you're either too close or too far away, either you're going to get hit or you won't be able to hit the opponent. You won't be able to cause damage to the opponent. So there are certain rules to the game as opposed to, not rules, but there are certain ways you would want to play. There are certain things that are right and there are certain things that are wrong. Unfortunately, like I said, where things go left is that if you're learning it yourself, right, you can make mistakes along the way. And if you're green, meaning if you're new, what can happen is that you might think something is right, but you're actually doing it wrong, okay? And to be honest, you don't even have to be new. There are certain ideologies that people may have that might be completely wrong. I'll give you a perfect example. When I would make videos about Redbubble and TeePublic and Zazzle and Society6, people would say, oh, it's great that I understand now, the Redbubble way to tag. Now I'll just use these strategies for all the print-on-demand sites. This is the biggest shot in the face like that they could possibly do to themselves. Because the way that you tag on Redbubble is not the same way that you should tag on Society6. In fact, they're polar opposites. I'm actually writing a book on Society6 and how to tag properly. It's like 70, 80 pages or 90 pages at this point. And the reality is that there are things that you can learn that you think you're doing right on, but you're really doing wrong. And this happens all the time. I'll give you a small little kind of simile or metaphor, whatever you want to call it. There's an individual who's on a plane. The plane crashes, and him and like 5 other people are survivors. Now, what he does is he uses a piece of the broken wing as like a machete. And him and this squad of like 5 other people, they're walking in the wrong direction to the city. What they're really walking to is they're walking towards the water. This is a problem. So had he not climbed up this tree, looked in the distance what direction they were going in, they would have walked the wrong way. And if they walk the wrong way, then they're making their job on them 50, 100, 1,000,000 times harder. He comes down from the tree and he says, guys, for the past 4 or 5 hours, we've been walking the wrong way. The city's the other way, right? So my point with this is that you could be that individual that is walking the wrong way. You might think you're doing something, but you're not. You're running in place effectively. You're not covering any ground. And this, unfortunately, doesn't just happen with learning by yourself, but this also happens when you gain information. You can watch a YouTube video, or you can even purchase a course about a certain business model, right? That could be the wrong information. That absolutely is the case. So that's why things go left here, is that in the finesse process, whether you're trying to gain finesse by, essentially gaining it from someone or learning it yourself, you can go the wrong way. You can learn the wrong information. And, this is never more prevalent in combat sports, boxing, MMA, whatever. If you learn some strategy the wrong way, you can lose your life. And that's not an exaggeration. Boxing athletes, right? If they don't learn how to defend properly, they think they might be doing it well. They go into a fight. They can get very seriously hurt. They can die. That's not an exaggeration, So there is a right and a wrong way in every business model. And you have to learn what's right. The unfortunate part is people who think they're doing right, usually 99.9% of the time, they don't ask themselves, am I doing right here? So from finesse, there's only 2 ways you can go now. The red way and the green way. Okay? And what's the red way from finesse? Well, the red way is giving up. So I'm going to write it in green here, just so I don't have to keep switching markers. But giving up. Eventually, when you do the wrong thing over and over and over and over, you think you're doing right. What do? You end up marking that business as a fake, as a scam, as something that will never work, as something that's a waste of time, and you say, I give up. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. You see this tremendously in different businesses like Redbubble, for example. I've done so well in Redbubble throughout the years, and I get comments all the time of people saying, oh, Redbubble's a scam. You don't earn any money on Redbubble. And I always comment back the same thing. Is like, did you know that in the last quarter, Redbubble made like close to $90 million? Did you know that? Like Redbubble in a whole year at one point made over $40 million. I think one of their years it was like $400 million. I think one year it was $596 million. So how can it be a scam? How can you not make money? See, it's not that you don't make money. It's that you were going the wrong way the whole time. You believed you were going the right way, and really you went too far, and you chose to give up because it seems like it doesn't work, because it seems like you put everything in. So that's the wrong way to go after finesse. You're giving up, and it's not because you want to necessarily give up, but because you thought you were fooled. Your logic was the enemy to yourself. You thought you were succeeding, but really your logic betrayed you, right? You thought you were doing right, but really it wasn't helping you out. So that's kind of the giving up process. But then in finesse, assuming that you get past all this, you start succeeding. And when you start succeeding, what happens is now you have 2 options. And this is another part where things can go wrong again. Is when you start succeeding, you can either start slowing down because now you're comfortable, right? You're comfortable. You don't need to push as hard anymore. Or you can go the right way and double down. And so this is the strategy that matters here. And I told this story before, but I'll tell it again. There was an individual who was a student of mine. His name was Benjamin Lovis. Shout out to him. I don't know if he's watching this. It's been years since we spoke, maybe about 6 years. But at the time, he was 18 years old. and he was getting into his business, and he, listened to me on certain things. And I told him, do this certain business model. I'm not going to say what it is, but I told him to do this certain business model, and he was doing it. Everything was perfectly fine. He went from literally zero to making about $1,600 a month. It wasn't that bad, and especially for an 18-year-old kid at the start, it's not bad for a beginner, right? So he's making about $1,800 a month. A few months later, he comes to me. He says, I want to make more money. I said, okay. What you're going to do is you're going to take what you're doing now and you're going to multiply your efforts about 5 times. So you're going to take everything that you're doing, you're going to multiply your work times 5. The work that he was doing took about, realistically, maybe 25 minutes a day. So he's making about $1,600, $1,800 a month off 25 minutes a day. So it wasn't a big deal. So I told him, do everything that you're doing now, but do it like 5 times more. Okay? Super simple advice. So he doubled down, and he went through this path of success where he got to the point where he was making about anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 a month. Okay? I told him the business model that you're doing, you're close to making about $10,000 a month, $6,000, $8,000, $7,000, whatever. You're doing much better than you did before. You're 18 years old. I want you to understand that this business model is not, and I guarantee you, I could put my life on it, is not going to last forever. Right now you're doing well. You think it's going to last forever. It's not. I've been down this road too many times. And this is why I tell you guys, don't ever be married to a concept of a single business. Don't commit to it. Understand that businesses live and they die, just like people do. But anyways, I told him, you have to understand this business is eventually going to come to an end, okay? The money's not going to be coming forever, so you need to start preparing now for that moment while times are good. You're making more money than you ever made before. You need to start preparing. And what he did was, unfortunately, he didn't take my advice. I told him to go through certain systems, certain processes to start other things. I told him about other avenues that do require a ton of effort, a ton of tremendous effort. And unfortunately, he didn't listen. And what happened is that he lost all of his income, all of the money that was being made. So at one point, he took his $1,500, $1,600, $1,800. He turned that into anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 a month, and it now became somewhat passive. I mean, he was doing a few hours of work a week, and he was making close to $10,000 a month. Now, what happened is that he took now the slowdown route. He didn't want to work anymore. He got to the point where he was comfortable, right? And that is, like I said, the problem. Once he gets comfortable. And unfortunately, making $10,000 a month at his age, going from 18 to 19, even 20 years old, that's fine, but that's not going to pay for the rest of your life. That's not going to take care of you for the rest of your life. He was living in America. Maybe if you live in Chile or something like that, it's fine, but not in America. I told him that's not going to, you got to do something here. And I told him what to do. Like I listed out certain things that he should do because he paid for consulting. And unfortunately, he didn't listen. He was too comfortable. He stayed slow, and he screwed himself, unfortunately. The business died off, and then he had no income coming in. Many months later, maybe about 12 to 18 months later, I couldn't give you an exact number, he emails me, and he purchases another consulting package. And he says to me, what do I do now? The system didn't work, or it stopped working. I made the money, but I don't know what to do. I didn't use the other business models you told me. And, of course, I gave him certain solutions, but they weren't the same as the very first business model he got into, which was fast money. Why am I telling you guys this story? Why does this story even matter? Well, I'm not telling you to bore you. I'm telling you because I want to illustrate the point that you can get to a point where you're succeeding and then screw yourself and slow down. And it's the ultimate form of self-sabotage because you started to achieve some level of success now. You started to get somewhere. And instead, you decide, instead of doubling down and keep growing, you decide to shoot yourself in the foot. I can understand somebody who has succeeded past a certain point and they say enough is enough. I'm happy. I'm good. I don't need to work anymore. I'm ready to retire. I'm done. I understand that. But if it's an individual like Benjamin had literally just got started at his young age, 18, 19 years old. What is that in the grand scheme? It's nothing, right? Let's say you make $150,000, $200,000. Really, what is that at that age? It's good, it's better than most, but it's not enough to fulfill you for the rest of your life. It's just not going to be good enough. So I told Benjamin what to do, and unfortunately, he just couldn't do it. He didn't have the commitment. He didn't have the energy, the effort. And I think partially it was because he used a business model in the very beginning that wasn't difficult. And, he had a touch of success, a flavor, a taste of success for a short period of time. We're looking at 18 months, 24 months. But then after that, what else does he have left to show for it? Nothing. When you're in business or you're trying to achieve financial freedom, this is the pathway you have to go through. And that's how you can achieve whatever you want. The level of difficulty, and I'll try to actually delete this board and kind of draw something here. If difficulty was a threshold, or difficulty, not a threshold, but if it was a spectrum, rather, and let's just label this difficulty, where this is hard difficulty, this is light difficulty, or easy. The level of difficulty purely depends or relates to the goals you want to achieve. So if you want something that is extremely, let's say, rare, let's say you want to buy a $15 million mansion with your passive income, well, that's extremely difficult. That's somewhere on the edge here, Almost nobody owns a $15 million mansion, right? Almost nobody. If we look at statistics and we look at people who own houses and we take the value of their houses, we map it all out through America, you might find, let's just say 0.1% of the population who own a house that's 15 million or more, right? A very small amount of people. I mean, we're talking in less than a few thousand, almost nobody, compared to the 300 million plus in America. So almost nobody. But the point is that the higher your goal is, the harder it's going to be. The easier goal is, well, the easier it is. So it just depends on what level. And I tell people all this time is like, in other parts of the world, like if you go to Turkey, if you go to Croatia, Belarus, let's use some other countries, not just European, but if you Hungary is a little bit more expensive. But if you go to Egypt, if you go to Lebanon, and Lebanon, is probably not the best place to live, pretty unsafe because of the war and stuff. But things are heating up there. But I'm listing different countries. If you go to Nigeria, if you go to Kenya, if you go to Thailand, if you go to Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, if you go anywhere outside of these Western countries, it's going to be much easier to achieve the financial freedom goal. Much easier. And I'm not even going to sit here and be deluded. You can make $200,000-$300,000 total and be set for life in another country. You absolutely could. Some people are saying the West is falling. I'm not going to comment on my personal views, whether it is or it isn't. Once again, I'm not commenting. I'm not even going to bring that up. But the point is that you may want to look at living somewhere else. Especially, you got to think of why do people live in a certain area that's overly priced? I'm not going to name the countries here, but overly priced. And now they have to work extra hard. They have to work 10, 20 times harder than previous generations to achieve even half of the level of success. Inflation has come along and literally thrown everybody a huge hailstorm. It's hard to maintain any kind of success in an environment like that. So you can take your success, which is monumentous in other countries, move to another country. And now this level of difficulty is much easier to achieve, to achieve a certain lifestyle. I can take $100,000 in America and live a pretty bad lifestyle, really not a good lifestyle at all. But versus take $100,000, go to a completely different country. Let's just use Cape Town, South Africa, for example, and be in really good shape. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, environment makes differences, things like that. But I just kind of want to point that out. Usually, people stay in one place because of their job, because that's how they pay themselves. But if you're financially free, you don't have a job. You don't have a requirement on you. You don't have anybody telling you you have to wake up at a certain time, go to sleep at a certain time, do certain things. So I don't know if you guys enjoy this type of content. This content is a little bit different than the type of stuff I have. I do want to commentate or do reaction videos or explanation videos on other people's videos related to financial freedom and talk about that. If you guys are interested, please let me know. I mean, I'm very flexible with the content that I want to create, but it's all a matter of if you guys want it at the end of the day. So thank you guys for letting me know. I'll expect some comments down below, and I'll talk to you soon. All right? Peace out. Bye.